All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about something pretty wild. A country that tried to fight crime, but not with guns or soldiers, with banking policy. This is the story of Nigeria's incredible 80-20 gamble.
I mean, just think about that question for a second. Can you really tackle kidnapping, corruption, all of it, without firing a single shot? Our minds usually go straight to military action, right? But what if the real weapon wasn't on the battlefield, but in the central bank?
And here's the thing. This isn't some theoretical debate. For 5 chaotic months in early 2023, Nigeria's answer to that question was a loud, clear yes. They actually tried to choke off the entire criminal economy just by turning off the cash tap.
So what happened? Well, the results came fast, and they were, frankly, unbelievable. It led to this period that can only be described as a sudden and, honestly, a shocking peace across huge parts of the country. I mean, the impact was immediate. Kidnapping for ransom, which is just a plague in Nigeria, it practically ground to a halt. You had corrupt officials absolutely panicking. You know those police roadblocks where they shake you down for cash? Gone. They vanished. For the first time in a very, very long time, whole villages that had been living in constant fear could finally just breathe. Okay, so how on earth did this actually happen? It all comes down to a really fascinating concept. Let's call it the 80-20 financial weapon. This was the theory driving the whole thing. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's powerful. It basically says that Nigeria's security problems are fueled by one thing: physical cash. So, what if you could solve 80% of the problem using financial tools, like going cashless, and you only need the military for that last 20%? It's not about fighting the beast head-on. It's about starving it. And they moved fast. Look at this timeline. October 2022, they announce it. By January of the next year, the whole country is in a massive cash crunch. And then, just like that, by the end of May, it's all over. A complete whirlwind of a national experiment packed into just 5 months.
And when I say cash crunch, I really mean it. This chart puts it into perspective. The amount of physical cash just flowing through the economy dropped from 3.3 trillion naira to less than 1 trillion. That's a 70% reduction in a matter of months. It was, for all intents and purposes, an economic chokehold.
So what does sucking all the cash out of the system actually do on the ground? Well, it directly attacks the pillars of the criminal world. It starves them out.
You've got 3 main targets here, and they all rely on the same thing: untraceable, physical cash. You've got the kidnappers, the corrupt officials with their hoarded money, and the security agents taking bribes. Take away the cash, and their whole world gets turned upside down.
Let's start with the kidnappers. Their business model is brutally simple. Snatch someone, demand a massive pile of cash. But what happens when the families literally cannot get that cash from the bank? And you can't exactly ask them for a bank transfer, can you? It's traceable. All of a sudden, their entire business model just collapsed.
And make no mistake, this was not some accidental side effect. It was the entire point. President Buhari himself said it flat out. This policy was designed to fight corruption and all that dirty money sloshing around.
And boy, did it cause a panic. Imagine you're a corrupt official sitting on piles of illicit cash. Suddenly, you have this terrible choice. Either you take it to the bank and risk getting investigated, or you watch it all turn into worthless paper. The heat was so intense that they put 3 sitting governors under surveillance. There were even stories of people abandoning those huge Ghana must-go bags stuffed with cash on the side of the road. But you probably saw this coming. This incredible period of calm couldn't last. The policy was reversed, and just as fast as the peace had arrived, the chaos came roaring back.
The end came on a single day, May 29, 2023.
A Supreme Court ruling made the old banknotes legal again, and it was like a dam broke. All of that physical cash came flooding right back into the system.
And the difference was night and day. I mean, look at this. The cash supply bounces back, and what happens? Kidnappings don't just return, they spike immediately. Those roadside extortion rackets, back in business overnight. The peace was completely shattered.
And if you want a number to wrap your head around, 721 billion naira. That's the estimated amount Nigerians paid in bribes just in 2023. And the real kicker, a huge chunk of that happened in the months after the cash came flooding back. It just wiped out all the progress.
So after all that chaos, what's the takeaway? What do we learn from this massive, messy, but fascinating experiment? Well,
It might just be a blueprint for the future.
Now, we have to be really clear about this. The execution was a disaster for a lot of people. It caused immense hardship. There weren't enough new notes, so regular folks couldn't buy food or medicine. If you were one of the millions of unbanked people, you were just completely cut off. It was a mess.
So the best way to look at this is as a flawed proof of concept. On one hand, what worked? It proved that a financial policy like this can seriously disrupt criminal networks. It showed that the 80-20 idea has real teeth. But on the other hand, what didn't work? The poor execution, not thinking about the unbanked, and the sudden reversal just created a different kind of chaos.
And I think House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas really hit the nail on the head here. The ultimate lesson is the need for a smarter, more balanced way of doing things. It's about being innovative, not just relying on brute force.
And that's really the most powerful thing to take away from all this. Those few months of peace, those villages that were actually free from the terror of kidnapping, that wasn't a fluke. It wasn't an accident. It was a glimpse of what's possible. It was a blueprint.
So, at the end of the day, here's where we are. The experiment was chaotic, it was painful, but it worked. It proved the underlying theory was right. And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. Now that we know this can be done, what happens next?